Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be talking about the rise of BRICS and what it means to the global economy. So we could be potentially talking about global power, influence, and then shift of the global economy itself, right? And many of you might be thinking, why would I care? I don't take care of global currency policies and global trades. Well, this is not just a story for economists and analysis, because this story would strongly affect our own lives as well. Our own lives in terms of what our savings is gonna be valued and what our money will be valued as well. So I'm gonna break this down to 5 simple points that is going to give you a grasp of a concept of what could be in the next few years time, right? So originally, BRICS is a group of countries that built with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and also South Africa. And now there's a few more countries, new added countries to them, which also includes Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and UAE. So with all of this combined, right, the combined GDP has surpassed the G7 GDP, which is a huge leap in progress of taking control of the global economy's flow. Because now that this group of countries have more of the economy of the world, it means that they also are in more control of the economy of the world in some sense, if you put it that way. So they take up about 34% of the world's land area, 36.7% of the global GDP, 45% of the world's population, and 40% of the world's harvest, which is like weed and stuff. So this isn't just a group of countries. This isn't just a group of countries that come together to, celebrate, drink champagne. It's gonna reshape the entire global economy and how the world functions as it is. And that was my first point, basically, the data of BRICS currently. So now moving on to my second point, which is what makes the dollar the king and how it came to be. So in order to move on from the story, I'll just give you a brief go through of how the dollar became the global reserve currency. But before I continue, I forgot to add a detail on the first point, which is basically that the BRICS is trying to create their own sort of payment transaction as well, which is why I'm talking about how dollar became the most used reserve currency in the world right now, because the BRICS is trying to create something that could potentially replace or take up a huge amount of space in the global trading with their currency instead of using the dollar. So how the dollar became the thing, as in the reserve currency, the most used reserve currency globally, was that it started from World War II, where they come out and they became the strongest country in the world and also the strongest economy in the world. So it became an economic powerhouse at that point. And fast forward to 1970, they basically cut off the link of gold with the dollar. So basically in the past, one trade of a dollar equals some amount of gold. However, they cut that system off, making the dollar based off trust instead of based off a tangible asset, which is like gold. So the dollar itself is a value instead of being able to trade it off for something that actually has value in some sense. So basically so you're now using dollar based off trust. You're using this currency because you trust it. That's how powerful America's economy was back then, and that's why people will still use it even though it's not linked to gold anymore, because they trust this currency because of the country's economy. So yeah, but eventually they use this part of the reserve currency, which is the dollar, to do a lot of things, and to the point where there's a huge reliance on it. Because there's a huge reliance of it throughout the entire world, they use it for many different things like sanctions, trade policies, and financial controls over some certain countries or whatever, which cause a lot of frustration between some countries who think that the US has too much dominance over the world's economy, which frustrates them. Some of them get sanctioned, some of them would lose a lot of GDP because US doesn't want to do business with them, and because they have to rely on the world's reserve currency, which is the dollar. Which is frustrating, right? Which is why this time around, BRICS is trying to offer some sort of alternative, seeing this weak point of the US. Since the US has been in a casual decline for quite a while now, and also a lot of people are losing their trust in the US dollars, which is why the BRICS came out with this idea at this point of time. And now to my third point, which is the BRICS Summit. So lately, the BRICS has made a bold declaration of independence over Western financial systems, and here's what they announced, right? First of all, they announced the BRICS Pay. So it sounds exactly like what it sounds like. It is exactly what it sounds like. So it is basically like Apple Pay, but on a global scale for BRICS, I guess. You can do transactions with this thing without using US dollars. And this is a big deal because the US dollars is the world's reserve currency, and doing trades without it, it would reshape the entire global economy. And second of all, they had something called a physical BRICS card, which if you go get one, you would get like 500 rubles. I think it's rubles. Basically as a symbolic gestures of what's to come, basically showing you something attractive if you apply for it. And the next one is loans in local currencies. So basically the BRICS, the new developed bank, which is also called the NDB, will now offer the loans in local currencies than rather US dollars. And basically their goal is to finance at least 30% of loans in local currencies by 2024. And this is going to be a huge deal because it's basically taking away the usage of the US dollars. So this move's key benefit is to strengthen the financial independence of borrowing nations from the US dollars, which if they have frustrations caused by the dominance of the Western financial systems, then they would like to pivot to this alternative. And now my fourth point, which is why does this matter globally? So basically, if BRICS achieve what they say they want to achieve, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a huge shift in the global economy itself and the reliance on the US. And there's also going to be a lot of reshaping in terms of reliance on economy from the Western side to probably the BRICS. And first of all, the other thing is that there's going to be a dollar's decline. What I mean by this is basically that since they're going to be less influential now, the US, if this happens, what's going to happen is that there's going to be more dollar in US. Because now that they're the reserve currency right now, a lot of people will keep the US dollars in their own country, right? But if the BRICS is successful in what they're doing, what's going to happen is basically that the dollar is going to go back to US. And once it does, that's going to cause inflation because there's going to be more dollars chasing after lesser goods, if you get what I mean. Moving on is commodity market shift. So basically, BRICS is considering making their own commodities exchange, which is going to make a huge shift in reliance, like I said just now, from the Western side economy to BRICS as well, which they're thinking of, which is going to be a huge shift in probably the oil price, wheat, and other essential stuff that you need to buy every day. There's going to be a huge shift in price potentially, or even how much is produced, as in, you know, how the BRICS want to take control of the economy in their own way. And you're gonna see that if this thing succeeds. So basically what's gonna happen is that there's gonna be, the US is going to have a huge power loss and huge loss of influence. Dollar's gonna be basically it will mean nearly nothing in the future if this goes through. And it will also mean that the BRICS is gonna be the new influence of global economy. Now moving on. So now my fifth point, which is what does this mean to investors? Well, if BRICS, theoretically saying, takes over the control of the financial system of the world, right? It's gonna be very uncertain, but in uncertainties, it will also be opportunities. I'm not saying that I'm gonna give you absolute choices to choose from, and I'm not saying that there's gonna be no risk, but definitely there's gonna be huge uncertainties, but there's also opportunities, which uncertainties also means that there could be bad stuff that will happen. You're gonna lose a lot of money if you randomly do it. But let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is, obviously, as you guys know, is outside of the government's grasp, I would say. So while in the shift of this power, it could possibly be a huge chance for you to invest in Bitcoin and see it grow if many people do not want to rely on the US dollars anymore. I would say a lot of people would temporarily see the Bitcoin is a huge place and huge safe place to put your money. I wouldn't say safe, but definitely a place where it is a huge alternative to put your money while you cannot rely on the US dollars. And also, they say that the Bitcoin is not finished mining yet, which is a term they would say to kind of say the limit of how much a currency have. Like gold has its max value, but at the same time, they're saying that Bitcoin is not finished mining yet, and there's a lot of place to grow for Bitcoin, in my opinion. So, look out for Bitcoin. And moving on is stocks market. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty in stock markets, I would say, because a lot of great companies that you would invest in, for example, Nvidia or even Tesla, right? They're all in America, so they're definitely affected by US dollars, if a lot. So if they were to make this shift, which is a huge shift that we would not be able to see happen in the past decade, past nearly century, then I'm not sure what to tell you, because I don't think I have a clear thing to tell you like what's gonna happen to a country's stock market if the financial system was broken. I mean, the global superpower like US, like for example, and Tesla, right? Would they be such reliant to the US dollars if US were to be not in control of the financial system of the world anymore? Well, that's up to you to think. So if you want to rely on stocks like Tesla's to invest your money in a point of economic crisis like this, then that's up to you, and I would also like to know more about it. So comment down below if you have any thoughts on that. And moving on is real estate. So probably one of the more like physical investments that you can invest in, potentially like real gold bars or houses, right? These are more certain assets that you could buy that which would be able to preserve your value of your money while you are in an uncertain time where dollars is not really the most reliable thing. So yeah, so basically what it's going to cause that it's going to cause a lot of uncertainties, but also a lot of opportunities, which can only be picked out by yourself, because I cannot tell you by searching, because I'm still learning myself as well. And now to my conclusion. What my conclusion is basically that BRICS is definitely a force to be reckoned with. It's gonna come, and eventually something's gonna happen. And if this huge change does happen, then it's gonna cause a lot of commotion in the economy. perhaps many people is gonna lose their money. Perhaps a lot of people is gonna earn a lot of money. But what's gonna be for sure is that there's gonna be a huge shift in the influence and usage of currency. And if this does go through, what's gonna be certain is that the US is definitely gonna lose their grip on the global financial system, which is gonna be a huge thing as well, which we could discuss another day. Well, that's it for this video, and I hope you really enjoy it. I hope you enjoy learning new information with me, and I'm just posting what I've learned. I hope you guys can also comment down below what you have known, so I can learn in the process of your learning as well. I do appreciate you watching this video. I hope you enjoy. I hope you like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.